Insider threats are especially difficult to track. In this video, we'll discuss the different types of insider threats and how to stop them. According to CISA, Zero Trust says that we must assume our network has already been penetrated by the adversary. This adversary could be a disgruntled employee, a contractor with remote privileges, or an external actor that has successfully gotten into the network possibly through a phishing campaign. Our adversary is now a rogue insider. Let's discuss the typical process that this insider will go through to penetrate the network. Then we'll show what happens when Shepherd is protecting the hosts. Finally, we'll see how, even if our rogue insider is a Shepherd user, how we can stop the hacker in real time through integration with Splunk or a similar monitoring tool. Okay, scenario 1. Typically, the rogue insider who has network credentials will try to employ a few hacking tools to scan the network and find the valuable resources. One tool, called Nmap, is a scanning tool that finds services and applications with open listening ports. Once they find the services with Nmap, they can use a tool such as Hydra to attempt to crack the passwords to gain access in linps on Linux to identify vulnerabilities and move laterally. In scenario 2, we have Shepherd protecting the hosts. Here, when the rogue insider runs Nmap, he does not find any services or applications because the ports are closed. They are invisible to the network. Scenario 3 is when the rogue insider is also a Shepherd user. In this case, we can stop unauthorized activity through integration with Splunk or a similar monitoring tool and terminate the user from being able to reconnect. Let's take a look at the workflow of how this works. The rogue user, also a Shepherd user, is connected to a machine through Shepherd. He runs an unauthorized application such as Nmap. Splunk is configured to watch for this event and trigger an action. The action is to run a script which tells Shepherd to immediately terminate the session and prevent the user from logging back in. We'll see a demo of this where the rogue user is running from both a Linux and a Windows environment. In the Shepherd administrator console, we have a user named Rogue who has access to both an Ubuntu and a Windows 10 machine. Here in the Shepherd control app, we'll watch the rogue user run a Shepherd SSH session to connect to the Ubuntu machine. Remember, this is an insider gone bad. Next, I'll bring over the Splunk Enterprise console. This is configured to watch for any user running an unauthorized application. For this demo, I have it watching for Nmap, but it can monitor any number of applications. As the rogue user logged onto the Ubuntu machine, I will run Nmap against the IP address on one of my Windows machines. We can see that Splunk immediately sees that Nmap was run and generates an event in real time. In the background, it has triggered an event to tell Shepherd to terminate the session. We'll wait a second for it to trigger. And there's the session being terminated. In the Shepherd administrator console, we'll see that the Ubuntu machine has automatically been removed so that the rogue user can no longer access it. If we take a look at the session recording, we can see that the rogue user ran Nmap right before being terminated. Now let's do a similar demo on Windows. This time the rogue user is going to run an RDP session with Shepherd. Bringing over Splunk Enterprise again, this time I have it monitoring for the Windows version of Nmap called Zenmap. Now I'll launch Zenmap and then bring back Splunk. We see that it has immediately picked up on that event. And now behind the scenes, Splunk is running the trigger action, which is the script to tell Shepherd to terminate the RDP session. There we see the RDP session has been terminated and trying to reconnect. But the reconnection will be unsuccessful because we automatically removed the rogue user from accessing that Windows machine. And we see the activity of their last session before it was terminated. Shepherd is a key component of a multi-layered security strategy within the Zero Trust framework dealing with rogue insider threats. It provides least privilege, role-based access control, session monitoring, and termination of unauthorized activities. Visit fullarmor.com for more information or to request a live demo.